Baccara is a female vocal duo formed in 1977 by Spanish artists Mayte Mateos and María Mendiola. The pair rapidly achieved international success with their debut single Yes Sir, I Can Boogie, which reached #1 across much of Europe. A successful follow-up single and European tour led to a number of album releases, numerous television appearances and the duo's selection to represent Luxembourg in the Eurovision Song Contest 1978. Despite a substantial following in Spain, Germany and Japan, by 1981 the duo's distinctive blend of disco, pop and Spanish folk music was no longer fashionable, and by 1983 Mayte Mateos and María Mendiola were both working on solo projects. Achieving little success as solo artists, the two formed duos of their own. Separate incarnations of the original Baccara appeared during the middle of the decade, with Mendiola fronting new Baccara and Mateos keeping the duo's original name. During the 1990s new Baccara was renamed back to Baccara. As a consequence both Mateos and Mendiola now had different duos with the same name. Both principals have subsequently had prolonged but separate legacy careers based on nostalgia and their earlier fame. Mendiola's Baccara has seen more international recognition, releasing a string of high-energy club hits such as Fantasy Boy and Touch Me in the late 1980s and the later UK club hit Wind Beneath My Wings. Mateos Baccara has released few new recordings, but has remained in demand for television and live appearances in countries such as Spain and Germany where the original Baccara developed a loyal fan base, performing the duo's back catalogue and modernized versions of traditional Spanish songs. Formation: Mayte Mateos graduated as a teacher from the Royal Spanish Academy for Arts, Drama and Dance in Madrid and then joined Spanish television's ballet company. While there she met fellow performer María Mendiola. In 1976 the two women formed a singing and dancing duo and left the ballet company. Initially the duo's act was simply that of variety show dancers. Their first television appearance was on the Palmara Copyright Light entertainment program and they were engaged at a nightclub in the Aragon city of Zaragoza, but their contract was cancelled when the club manager decided that they were too elegant for the style of show. Mateos and Mendiola relocated to the Canary Islands in search of work. Here they found that there was an audience for the performance of traditional Spanish music and dance in a form that was adapted to suit international tastes. The duo was spotted by Leon Dean, manager of the German subsidiary of record company RCA, whilst performing flamenco dance and traditional Spanish songs for tourists in the Islas Hotel on the island of Fuerteventura. He invited them to Hamburg in order for them to meet the 30-year-old Dutch producer-composer Rolf Soja. Soja was the prime mover behind what became Baccara. He developed their stage performance and recruited their instrumental support. Mateos and Mendiola were retitled Baccara, after the name of their Black Rose, in reference to the women's dark Spanish appearance. Soja is generally credited with the Baccara formula consisting of breathy lyrics, lush backing, a disco beat and the striking image of two women dancing. While drawing lightly on Spanish flamenco song and dance tradition, the formula was very much rooted in 1970s disco music. Soja's song arrangements generally used Mateos as the lead singer while Mendiola contributed backing and refrains. Baccara, together with fellow writer Frank Dostal, Soja penned their dark copyright but single Yes Sir, I Can Boogie, and most of their other 1970s hits. Recorded in the Netherlands and released in 1977, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie was an enormous pan-European hit and was a prime example of the phenomenon that is known as the summer hit. The song was heard everywhere over the summer of 1977 and it is still evocative of that moment in time. It is also one of the best-known examples of the Euro-disco genre. This mind-bending common market melding of foreign accents, bad diction, bizarre arrangements and lightweight production, usually top-heavy with strings. Yes Sir, reached the top of the charts in Germany, the Netherlands, the UK, Sweden, Belgium, Israel, and Switzerland, and number 3 in France. Baccara sold more than 16 million copies of Yes Sir, I Can Boogie, and featured in the 1977 edition of the Guinness Book of Records as the highest-selling female musical duo to date. They were the first female duo to reach #1 in the UK, and had the only number one by a Spanish artist in the UK until Julio Iglesias, 4 years later. Later that year a self-titled album, written and produced by Soja and Dostal, was released. The album Baccara was the first platinum-selling album, actually double platinum in 1978, by a foreign group in Finland. In 2013, the album still remains the sixth biggest-selling album of all time in Finland. A follow-up single, Sorry, I'm a Lady, was also an international hit, peaking at the top of the charts in Germany, the Netherlands and Belgium and reaching the top 10 in the UK, Sweden and Switzerland. Most of Baccara's recordings were sung in English, although they did also record in Spanish, German and French. They recorded different language versions of some songs. Touring in Europe during the late 1970s helped the band establish a firm fan base in Germany and the Scandinavian countries, and their Spanish-flavored interpretation of the disco sound also brought them recognition in Japan and Russia. Baccara represented West Germany at the 8th World Popular Song Festival held in November 1977 until it ended in 1989, the largest such contest in the world. Their song, Mad in Madrid, came 14th out of 37 participating countries. In 1978 the second Baccara album, Light My Fire, was released across Europe, and whilst not matching the international success of the first, it spawned the single Parles Visfrena Section A's, which was selected as Luxembourg's entry in that year's Eurovision Song Contest. Despite full marks from Italy, Portugal and Spain, the duo finished in 7th place. However, high sales, particularly in Denmark, Sweden and Belgium, meant that the single was a commercial success. Think What You Like About Baccara, seen today. Their 1978 Eurovision performance has a certain style while their competition from that event looks dated and amateurish. Eurocube New Musical Express, May 2002. Further recognition came in 1978 when Baccara was granted Germany's most prestigious media award, Berda Publishing Group's Bambi Prize. This is offered annually to celebrities whose abilities have impressed, moved and enthused the people in Germany. The duo made regular television appearances, becoming weekly guests on Sacco Distel's show in the UK, and on Music Laden in Germany. 1978 was the high point of Baccara's artistic and commercial success. Late that year the duo released the single The Devil Sent You to Laredo with Somewhere in Paradise as its B-side. Both of these Baccara recordings have become iconic. Somewhere in Paradise is regularly played by Christian radio stations while the Davila Euro is sometimes identified with the gay community. A Spanish-language version of the Davila Euro was released at the same time as the English one, and both the original English version and Somewhere in Paradise subsequently featured on the duo's first Greatest Hits compilation, The Hits of Baccara, released under the name Los Supermalxitos de Baccara in Spain and South America. 1979 saw the album Colors and the separately recorded single Eins plus Eins ist Eins, released to mark the United Nations International Year of the Child and celebrate the 20th anniversary of the UN adoption of the Declaration of the Rights of the Child. Although still successful, sales of these and other releases in 1979 were disappointing. Baccara's fourth and final album was Bad Boys, released in 1981. By this time the disco sound had been overshadowed by newer music movements in much of Europe and interest was largely confined to those countries where the duo had an established fan base, notably Germany. The album was not released in the UK or US. Baccara have been described as a one-hit wonder in the UK, while they never achieved any recognition in the US despite some of their songs being given significant airplay. One music critic suggested that the Baccara formula lacked artistic depth but had been mined for all it was worth over 2 years until public interest moved on to other things. The same critic also drew attention to an element of anti-feminist subservience in the lyrics of some Baccara songs. Split, the 1980 single release of Sleepy Time Toy, led to a disagreement within Baccara over the vocal mix used. Mendiola complained that her voice was not given sufficient prominence in the song's arrangement and sued RCA for breach of contract. Mendiola's case was that the song should not have been released as a Baccara recording when it amounted to a Mateos solo. A court hearing in Munich resulted in 250,000 records being recalled from dealers and a revised recording with a new vocal mix being issued in place of the original. A 28-second instrumental bridge was removed from the start of the recording and the vocals were remixed so as to give Mendiola and Mateos equal prominence. The artwork for the single's cover appears to have remained unchanged. The single failed to chart successfully. As a result of the dispute, relationships between all parties involved were fatally damaged. One consequence of this was that Soja and Dostal were not involved with Baccara's final album. The duo recorded Bad Boys with Bruce Baxter and Graham Sacher in the UK. Neither the album nor its spin-off single Colorado were successful. In 1981, after RCA declined to renew their contract, Mateos and Mendiola ended their professional partnership and both launched solo careers. By 1988 both artists had released a series of singles and one studio album each of their own. Mendiola with Born Again and Mateos with Spanish Dreams under the name Mayte copyright Euro, which saw moderate success amongst Baccara's original fan base. Mateos' Spanish Dreams was re-released on CD in Germany in the 2000s under the title Noche Latina, but Mendiola's Born Again still remains unreleased in digital format. However, there remained a demand for Baccara's music, particularly on the European television circuit, and by the end of the decade both Mateos and Mendiola had formed their own versions of Baccara with new singing partners. Despite a series of name and lineup changes, both Baccara duos continue to perform around Europe and have released new albums. Both have also made re-recordings of their hits for various minor record labels, which are regularly repackaged and reissued under the original Baccara name, occasionally with photos of the original duo, Mateos and Mendiola, on the album covers. However, the original song versions, those recorded between 1977 and 1981, remain the property of Sony Music Entertainment, which holds the rights to the RCA back catalogue. On the occasion of Baccara's 30th anniversary, Sony BMG Germany released a very complete 3-CD box set on August 31, 2007. This collection includes 50 RCA original recordings. Several songs such as Mad in Madrid, Amore, Bellita, NL plus or minus O 2000, Eins plus Eins ist Eins, and Candido made their debut on CD. The only tracks missing from this otherwise comprehensive career retrospective are the US 12 inches versions of Yes Sir, I Can Boogie, and Sorry, I'm a Lady from debut album Baccara, the full 12-minute album version of Baby, Why Don't You Reach Out? / Light My Fire, and the extended album version of Darling from 1978's Light My Fire and the extended 12 versions of Body Talk, and by 1999 from 1979's Colors. After the split, Mateos and Mendiola never performed together again. However, the two women remained on friendly terms. When Mateos married in Stockholm in 1982, Mendiola attended the wedding as a guest. There Mendiola met a fellow guest who she subsequently married and with whom she had 2 sons. Mateos's marriage failed and in 2010 she was living in Hamburg, where she worked as a dance instructor when not touring with her own revived version of Baccara. In 2010 Mendiola was living in Madrid and still performing as a singer. Mayte Mateos Baccara, following the original Baccara's dissolvement in 1981, Mayte Mateos released 3 solo singles through the RCA Victor label, Souvenirs from Paradise, Recuerdos del Ayer, and Malaguena, the first 2 produced by Rolf Soja. Reforming as Baccara in 1983 with Marisa Par copyright Res, a contemporary of Mateos and Mendiola at the Spanish TV ballet company, Mateos re-established the band on the European entertainment circuit. Par copyright Res was followed by a succession of partners including Angela Moreau, Sol Garca, Jane Comerford, Carmen, Cristina Sevilla, Paloma Blanco, Isabel Pacan, Romy Abradillo, Rose, Francesca Rodriguez and Mara Maroen. Mateos' current singing partner is once again fellow Spaniard Paloma Blanco. Although having no new hits to their name, Mateos Baccara have remained in demand for television and live performances, performing the band's extensive back catalogue Euro versions of which have been released as compilations Euro as well as up-tempo interpretations of traditional Spanish songs. In 1999 Mateos Baccara released a new studio album through RCA Victor Sony BMG, Baccara 2000, as well as an updated dance version of breakthrough hit Yes Sir, I Can Boogie as a single. In 2004, Mayte Mateos was once again involved with Eurovision, when her incarnation of Baccara took part in the Swedish Melodifestivalen pre-selection contest to represent Sweden with the song Soy to Venus. However, Baccara lost out to local star Lena Philipsson, who eventually placed fifth in the competition. A full-length studio album recorded in Sweden, Soy to Venus, followed. A new Baccara album with Mayte Mateos and Paloma Blanco, entitled Satin, in black and white and produced by the original Baccara team Rolf Soja and Frank Dostal, was released on May 30, 2008. This album contained remakes of original Baccara recordings from the late 1970s and some new songs. Although appreciated by Baccara fans, sales of the album were disappointing. In 2013 Mayte appears on vocals in the cover version of Yes Sir I Can Boogie by the indie rock band, based in London, Salah and the Strange Sound. María Mendiola's Baccara, initially called New Baccara to distinguish it from Mayte Mateos' reformed Baccara, Mendiola teamed up with vocalist Marisa par copyright Res and in 1987 reached the top 5 in Spain and top 40 in Germany with the single Call Me Up, written by Ian Cussick. 1988 saw the duo release a series of Euro-influenced high-NRG dance tracks on the Belafon recording label. Call Me Up, Fantasy Boy, and Touch Me were produced by Luis Rodriguez, and were big club hits across Europe. A version of Bette Midler's Wind Beneath My Wings, released on the Loading Bay label in the late 1990s, was also a hit in UK clubs. Towards the end of the decade New Baccara was renamed back to Baccara, and releases continued, although the group did not chart as their output was directed towards the club scene with singles pressed in strictly limited quantities. Mendiola and par copyright Res were stars of the UK 2000 tour and appeared at Wembley, London with various other music groups. In 2004, they appeared on British reality show Hit Me Baby One More Time. In August 2005, Mendiola and par copyright Res were honoured with a memorial on Vienna's Musical Mile, along its Hollywood-style Walk of the Stars. In late 2008 Marisa par Res was diagnosed with acute polyarthritis. It was agreed that until Perez recovered, her place at Baccara live performances would be taken by Mendiola's niece Laura Mendiola. This measure allowed Mendiola's Baccara to honour its outstanding commitments over the period Perez needed to recover. Discography Albums Compilations 1978, The Hits of Baccara Euro, 1990, The Original Hits Euro, 1991, Star Collection Euro, 1993, The Collection Euro, 1994, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie Euro, 1994, Star Gala Euro, 1995, Golden Stars Euro, 1998, The Collection Euro, 1999, Woman to Woman Euro, 2001, The Best of Baccara Euro Original Hits Euro, 2005, The Best of Baccara Euro, 2006, The Very Best of Baccara Euro, 2007, 30th Anniversary Euro. Singles Discography Albums 1990, FUN 1990, FUN Japan issue featuring European features, 1999, Made in Spain, 2000, Face to Face, 2002, Greatest Hits, 2006, Singles Collection. Maxi Singles 1989, Fantasy Boy / Touch Me Loading Bay Records UK, 1989, Call Me Up, 1990, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie 90, 2002, Wind Beneath My Wings, 2005, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie 2005. Singles 1987, Call Me Up / Talisman, 1988, Fantasy Boy, 1989, Touch Me, 1990, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie 90, 1999, Sorry, I'm a Lady, 2000, I Want to Be in Love with Somebody, 2000, Face to Face, 2002, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie, 2005, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie 2005, 2008, Fantasy Boy 2008, digital single. Discography. Albums 1994, Our Very Best, 1999, Baccara 2000, 2004, Soy to Venus, 2008, Saturn a Euro in Black and White. Maxi singles 1999, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie 99, 2004, Soy to Venus, 2008, Nights in Black Satin, 2012, Rose Garden / Maz K Nada / La Bamba / Simply Forget, digital EP. Singles 1994, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie, 1994, Sorry, I'm a Lady, 1999, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie 99, 2011, Christmas Medley, digital single, 2013, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie 2013 with Salah and the Strange Sounds. References. External links, Baccara discography at Discogs.